Thank you.
Yeah.
I am filled with immense love and gratitude and joy for you, for Abraham.
We're not giving
for
you a
me.
Kleenex, so just...
I'm good. I am here. I love your rampages. I'm here to rampage about how beautiful my life is since I've been exposed to the teachings of Abraham, how much everything has shifted, how I believe in the possibility, the unlimited possibilities around me, how I'm little by little learning to resist less and allow more.
Good.
Through the joy and the clarity and
Yeah.
the teachings and the constant
Yeah.
exposure.
Yeah.
So I'm here just for a tune-up.
And you're doing
really.
it on purpose. Well, the only tune-up that we want to give you, you said allowing possibilities. Your assignment from us, given what we talked about here, is to turn the possibilities into certainty, just through stubbornly sticking to your intention. Because the more often you speak about what you want, the more you'll be aware. We said in a seminar 2 weeks ago, it was the last words of the seminar, all you got to do is point at what you want and don't point in opposition. And the crowd had been listening long enough that that really resonated, and it was what was ringing in Esther's head as she got off the stage. And she put on her shoes, and as she was making her way back to her sleeping room, she was thinking, that is the simplest, easiest, obvious thing I have ever heard. I wonder why I don't do it more. And then she laughed at herself as in the middle of her acknowledgement of how easy that was, she offered a contrary statement. And then she said, I'm going to do this. I'm really going to do this. That's all that it takes. All I got to do is just point at what I want. And I'm clear about what I want. And it's easy to get what I want. And man, why didn't I hear that sooner? For several days, she caught herself, wait for it, hundreds of times a day, pointing that way and then that way. Because life experience is about calibrating. It's about collecting the data. And the reason that we're telling you this story is because this is what molding the clay is. Consideration. You have to consider in order to decide. And if you don't have things to compare, there can be no consideration. There can be no conclusion. There can be no decision. So don't be mad at yourself for consideration. Consideration is necessary. So what we're asking you to do is to be aware of how you feel so that in your consideration, you're always leaning in the direction of wanted. A lot of you are still beating up on yourself that you've been listening for a while and you still don't have that or that or that or that or that. You write letters like, what's going wrong? What am I doing wrong? You're not doing anything wrong at all. But you could clean up your arrows. You could clean them up. But most of all, you could not be mad at yourself for having some opposite thoughts. Now, stay with us because this is an important thing. We're out here on the leading edge. We want you to hear this. We've not talked about this in this way before. Everything, including your relationship with your inner being, everything is a comparative experience. Otherwise, you would not be having an experience. You couldn't be focusing anything. You couldn't take a picture if there were not light and dark in juxtaposition with one another. And so, if you are a decider, you want data from which to decide. You want things to consider. Yes?
Yeah.
So, can you say, from this little stretch of phrases that we just offered there, that contrast, therefore, is helpful?
Contrast is awesome in that context.
And that is the context of contrast.
That's what it's all about.
It's awesome. It's comparative because you can't choose without some. Now, this is the piece that we want you to get to before you leave this room today. We want you to accept the eternal nature of your being and the imperfection, meaning not finishedness, that you are always being. There's no end place for you to achieve, because every place you stand brings new variety from which to choose, and that's why you are eternal. So therefore, don't you think that it's time for you to stop talking smack about yourself or anybody else about where you are, since you're not fit? Esther used to say, I didn't think we'd end up here, and Jerry'd say, we haven't ended up. We haven't ended up. The question is where I am interesting? Is it fun? Is it calling me? Those are the questions that you want to ask, you see. So this is exactly how it works. You sift and sort, and sometimes you're mean to yourself, and sometimes you're nice to yourself. Sometimes you're mean to others, and sometimes you're nice to yourself. And you can tell by the way you feel what your inner being is doing. But in all of that, you are launching rockets of desire. You're pointing, even not knowing you're pointing, at a vibrational place where your inner being stands is the wrong word, exists is a better word, exists in awareness of what you have just pointed in that direction. And in fact, your inner being just became more because of what you pointed that away. And now your inner being, in all of its non-resistance, which is to say, in all of its clarity and purity and godliness, stands holding the you that you've just launched over there, even though you didn't go with it, because you're still caught up in whatever it is that caused you to ask for it. But your inner being felt it, knows it, absorbs it, and is it. And the law of attraction is now responding to your inner being's version of you. Now, those are rough words, your inner being's version of you. But go with it. Your inner being's version of you is a powerful point of attraction. And that's why once you've asked for it, if you don't point that way, you don't feel good. You cannot talk in opposition to a desire. If you really want to get in trouble with your kids, your mate, your boss, or anyone, talk in opposition to something you know they want. You will not win against their inner being, who is calling them with all of the forces of infinite intelligence. The energy that creates worlds is summoning to you. And so once you get the hang of that, you'll become a more consistent pointer, and you'll find yourself feeling a lot better. That's the first manifestation. But the next thing that happens is that all kinds of evidences come to you, sometime in the form of an idea. Sometimes someone you don't even know will say something that you've been thinking about. Sometimes you'll turn the television on just at the moment that you'll hear something that you've been wondering about. Your timing, this is what we want you to hear. Your timing and awareness that you are meeting up with something that is a piece of the unfolding wonderfulness of your life will start occurring to you. And this is why we want that to happen to you, and we want you to be aware of that. You're never going to get it done, and you're never going to stop asking for more. Therefore, there's never going to be a time in all of your eternity where everything that you've ever wanted will be manifested all at once. You're always going to be asking and receiving more, asking and receiving more. Jerry used to say, you're growing or you're dying. He could feel that there was always expansion going on. And if you're not going along with the expansion, then your orneriness is about that and about nothing else. Helpful?
Extremely helpful. I experienced the other day, I was thinking, what would I ask Esther? And I was thinking about finances.
Don't ask her anything, but talk to Abraham.
I was thinking of asking Abraham a question about...
Jerry said, you need a sign. On one side it says Esther, on the other side it says Abraham. As he hung around with Abraham and he hung around with Esther, he decided the sign wasn't necessary, that it's pretty obvious, because Esther's mostly just looking for fun, and we're always trying to guide you to clarity.
Okay. Can I ask something else?
Yes.
Not that much of an issue for me anymore. I'm getting a little better at gradually, after being steeped in spiritual teachings for like 15 whatever years. When I'm getting better at when something just isn't jiving, even if it's from you or someone I highly regard, that
Good.
I just
Good.
don't agree with it.
Good.
Because I consider that maybe I'm misinterpreting it, or maybe the way I'm seeing it is just serving me better if it feels better and such.
Yeah, and that goes for what just happened here.
Great. That's good to know.
You can take it or leave it.
Yeah. And I guess just this one kind of point of...
If you want to miss out on the best thing that's ever happened to you.
Oh, wow, okay.
If you don't understand that we can see into your vortex, if you don't understand that we're infinite intelligence...
Well, not offering resistance to what you just said. What you just told me about the relationship actually gave me more hope. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that. But just in general, there's just this like kind of one idea that's thrown me for a loop sometimes. I'm like, well, I'm just going to think what I think. Manifestation in general, the whole kind of teaching of manifestation, I had a lot of difficulty with for many years doing spiritual stuff. And it was only through the conversations with God texts that I'm sure you're familiar with and many other people here are, that it really became like this rich, alive thing that I could really dabble in.
Yeah.
And
ask and receive and ask and receive and ask and receive.
yeah, and it was just, that everything, I call forth everything in my reality, and I bring forth everything. And it talked about that in ways that made sense and were very empowering. And eventually, it basically started saying, like you can't necessarily know where everything came from, what level of consciousness you attracted it from, but just accept that it's perfect. It's the perfect circumstance for the perfect growth, expansion, whatever that you're seeking.
That's a good general place to start, because you can't receive what you're not ready to receive. But you can keep asking the question and receive more and more specific answers. There is nothing that you can want to know that you do not have the ability to attract in its fullness.
So yeah, I believe that I can attract whatever it is I wish to attract. But I guess the difficulty that I kind of had was that particular idea gave me a lot of relief and peace, and able to, no matter what happened, to not be like, oh, why did I attract that? Or I need to figure out what part of me attracted that.
You know why? You know what's so good about that? Is because you cannot think your way out of things. Because if you've got a problem that you're trying to think your way out of, your point of attraction is about the problem. So the problem just keeps presenting itself to you in different ways. You cannot think your way out of it. You can feel your way out of it by seeking the relief.
Yeah. Yeah, basically the emphasis was put on, don't worry about how it came about. Your main task is to just, get in alignment, to use your terms. That's your main task. Don't worry too much.
Yeah.
But then when I heard you talking about things, it kind of activated this almost like, I gotta, if this person's, I live in New York City, suddenly someone comes and yells at me.
People think that we're schizophrenic, or that we're teaching you how to be schizophrenic, because on the one hand we say you are a deliberate creator, be the creator of your own reality, and then we teach the art of allowing. You get into the place where you receive it and you say, Abraham, what do you want from me? Do you want me to get specific about what I want and script it and intend it, or do you want me to just accept that it's already done and just allow it to flow in? And we say the answer to what you do when is about whether you are in a state of resistance or a state of allowance. If you're in a state of resistance, you let it go, because you're not helping yourself. If you're in a state of allowance, then you turn on the gas, you turn on the juice, and you get more specific, because it's more fun. It's way more fun to be specific than it is to be general. But if being specific makes you not believe, then it doesn't feel good. And that's what the beauty of your inner being is. Your inner being knows exactly where you are on your path of least resistance. And your inner being is calling you around that resistance, over it, under it. There's no right answer. No one can write a book and say, under these conditions, do it just like this. Because the combination of the beliefs that you hold, that's why we started today with the conversation about, are you certain or are you uncertain, all the way along the way? Because how you feel really informs what you do next. If you feel negative, then release, 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 release. If you feel positive, then point and point and point and point and point. It really is like that. We want to tell you a Neil Donald